The Bahrain Grand Prix reaffirmed Mercedes' need to make significant improvements and seek new ways to improve its car. Mercedes are in huge trouble right now. They've tried to enhance their aero concept, but it only ended up getting worse. And with Aston Martin adopting a further Red Bull idea, Mercedes have ended up as the fourth fastest on the grid. Today, we're talking about the crisis Mercedes is in right now, and we'll start off right after qualifying on Saturday, because only 24 hours before the end of the race, the team was optimistic about their chances this year. Because even though the team revealed it was foolish to carry over their 2022 car idea, there was one good thing about their qualifying performance. Not a particularly brilliant one, but it provides some glimmer of hope for Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. After struggling on Friday for both single lap and long run performance, adjustments overnight resulted in a significant improvement that allowed the duo to qualify 6th and 7th, with Russell fractionally ahead and 0.632 seconds off pole position time from Max Verstappen. This was after we managed to improve a few of the issues like the high-speed cornering, according to trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin. Both drivers were concerned that qualifying would be more difficult, with a chance of falling into the clutches of the midfield group. Nonetheless, those tweaks ensured that Mercedes could remain in the lead pack, although as the slowest of what is now a 4-team category. Hamilton's greatest concerns of not even making Q3 were avoided for now. That, together with the idea that the car would be stronger in a race setting, is all Mercedes had to cling to in a disastrous weekend. "I thought it would have been worse than that," said Hamilton after Q3. "We did find some great work overnight. The car felt much better this afternoon in FP3. And then qualifying was okay. I thought we'd be struggling to get into Q3, but we didn't. We were in there and in the fight." Hamilton believes the car has improved in terms of the rear instability and traction constraint that were obvious during testing, but he believes this will continue to have a detrimental influence on tyre management in race conditions. "It was definitely better, but we are lacking overall downforce, particularly at the rear," said Hamilton when asked about the Saturday improvements. "That's why we can't get on the power as early as the Red Bulls and Ferraris on a single lap. And that's why we struggle with DEG. So it's the same story as you had in previous years. Before last year, we had better rear-end grip." Russell also believed Saturday went better than he expected, following Friday practice, and emphasized the increased emphasis on race performance. He emphasized the fact that the Mercedes W14 is a better package to deal with than last year's car, which had porpoising and bouncing issues. While its ultimate potential is debatable, as team principal Toto Wolff stated that the team must explore new concepts, Mercedes has something to build on. "We expected to add a little bit of performance overnight, but the performance we added probably exceeded expectations," said Russell. "Ultimately, the car is feeling nice to drive, so we're in a much better starting place compared to the W13. Now we can focus on adding global performance, rather than spending 3/4 of the year problem solving." On Saturday, Wolff did not dismiss the team's title aspirations, but it is evident that the timetable for Mercedes to transform their car into a winner on merit is more medium-term than short-term. "Motor racing is crazy," said Wolff, when asked about Hamilton's hopes of fighting for a record 8th driver's title. "I don't know what's going to happen this year. We may find a silver bullet next week and unlock 5 temps in the car. I haven't seen any silver bullets before, but you never know. But definitely, mid-term and long-term, we just need to have a car that's able to make us fight for an 8th championship." But then, everything went wrong on Sunday. The car wasn't performing, resulting in a disappointing result, which the team would like to forget quickly. Mercedes are in a state of crisis right now, and need to make a quick decision on their aero concept if they want to challenge for race wins this year. Toto Wolff called Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix one of the worst days in racing, and claimed Red Bull's 1-2 reminded him of his team's previous dominance in Formula 1. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell of Mercedes finished 5th and 7th in Bahrain, trailing both Red Bulls, Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin, with teammates Lance Stroll defeating Russell and Carlos Sainz's Ferrari. Hamilton was 50 seconds behind Verstappen, who had it easy ever since the start of the race. "Well, one of the worst days in racing, really not good at all," Wolff said. "We were just lacking pace front, right and centre. That's a reflection of the test because the Aston Martin is very fast. They deserve that. Red Bull is just on a different planet." Mercedes expected Red Bull to lead the field, but the gap between the W14 and the RB19 surprised Wolff, who claimed it reminded him of Mercedes' spells of dominance over the last decade. "That is what hurts because they're so far ahead. It reminds me of our best years when we were pulled a second on everyone else," Wolff added. "That is the benchmark and we need to do one step after the other to come back, and we can do that. Absolutely we can." Wolff stated that the team cannot wait for the season's next scheduled improvement, since it will only be worth 3/10. Something more radical is necessary, as he stated on Saturday, when he effectively admitted Mercedes was incorrect to remain with its 2022 design for this year. Wolff wasn't the only senior from the Mercedes team that was negative about the weekend, as Andrew Chauvelin, Mercedes trackside engineering director, wasn't happy about the result at all. The conclusion Chauvelin got from the Bahrain Grand Prix outcome is harsh. It was a very difficult Sunday. The gap to Red Bull is huge, and we've got Aston Martin and Ferrari ahead of us as well, the 49-year-old Briton stated in a Mercedes press release. He continued, "Clearly we have a lot of work ahead, and we need to go back and come up with a plan to try and find improvements. We're lacking overall grip, and on a high degradation track like this, there was nothing that the drivers could do to attack." The drivers themselves felt the lack of power during the race, as Hamilton's dissatisfaction was noticeable after a race in which he stated that he was miles away from a podium result based on pure performance, and that he was fortunate to profit from Charles Leclerc's retirement, else he would have finished 6th. Concerned would not be the right term to describe Hamilton's reaction to the lack of a performance boost between 2022 and 2023. "I don't really want to say too much. We've got to keep working. We know we're not where we need to be, and we know that this isn't the right car. It's a difficult one. I've just got to try and stay positive and keep pushing the guys, keep trying to be a positive light for them, and get the best points I can." His teammate Russell claimed Mercedes had come back to reality after the team felt it could battle Ferrari and Aston Martin based on a qualifying performance that exceeded expectations. "Clearly, that wasn't the case. We don't have enough performance on the car," Russell said. "We probably need to go back to the drawing board and keep on working. Today, everything wasn't where we needed it to be, so there's work to do." George Russell even went as far to say he won't be competing for any title after only one Grand Prix. The 24-year-old British driver believes Red Bull Racing will win both world titles again in 2023, leaving Mercedes, Ferrari, and Aston Martin in the dust. Red Bull have got this championship sewn up. I don't think anyone will be fighting with them this year. "They should win every single race this year, is my bet," Russell said. The Mercedes driver himself finished no further than 7th at the Bahrain International Circuit. Teammate Lewis Hamilton finished 5th. Russell is alarmed by the ease with which Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez drive the RB19. "They've got it easy at the moment. They can do what they like. They might not be on pole all the time because we know Ferrari are very competitive in qualifying, but when it comes to race pace, they're in a very strong position." What are your thoughts on Mercedes' performance and chances for this season? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll be on the lookout for Mercedes' response to this disappointing performance in the next race. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.